May have gone in a tiny bit early, judging by super hot crews looks on their faces.
I'm pretty sure they're all surprised with the Anivia ban, as are Fnatic. They're just like, what the heck has just happened? It is banned out. They were all looking at Mimer. Mimer's like, what? I didn't touch anything. My hand wasn't even on the mouse. But it looks like it's going to be a legitimate ban. The referee's like, nope, not having any of that. All of Super Hot Crew are kind of surprised by it. We'll see if it continues. Yasuo is the other pick for Fnatic. And Fnatic themselves are like, well, this is fine.
So this will come down to a referee decision. Generally, if the game has been started, all parties have agreed to go, and 9 times out of 10, we shouldn't drop out. But once I said it could be overruled by referees.
Well, you got to think of the gentleman's agreement that used to happen in Korea, and actually in Korea, Anivia and Annie are actually typed the same as far as I'm aware, which is why we'll often do see it changed. However, maybe it was meant to be an Annie Brown. Nevertheless, it is going to be a remake, so we are going to get that sorted out in just a moment.
So, in a situation like that, in most circumstances, if the game has been started, the pick is locked in. However, because we did have the delay, and we were filling for a little bit of a technical delay, it did catch Super Hot Crew off guard. I think, we've got our pieces on the side. I didn't expect it to go in, so... luckily, good guy referees.
You could see on the Super Hot Crew's face, they all turned to look to Mimer. He's like, what the hell are you doing? he was looking away. He's like, what? I didn't do anything.
I think with that...
everyone's inquiring Mimer. Mimer's like, it wasn't me, guys. It wasn't me.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are seeing right now is a revitalized team. With SELFIE joining, there are 3 self-portraits of the Super Hot Crew lined up one by one by one. This is their training. This is their moment. That was the picture. See? It's great.
xPeke's got a big smile on his face. At least you can see the fun side of it.
Fnatic's not looking at the camera because they don't have SELFIE training them. They don't have SELFIE bringing their eyesight where it needs to be.
I feel there's a horse being flogged here. It may be dead, and you are definitely trying hard at this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I can beat this horse just a little bit more. let me tell you that. So right now, once again, we are going to just remake this game. It is, of course, Super Hot Crew taking on Fnatic. Once this game is wrapped up, we will be going to the Challenger Series third place battle, but it is still one more LCS game to go.
It's not Annie, it's Ziggs. That was meant to be the first ban. Yasuo is taken away. So, picks and bans officially are underway this time around. No mistakes being made by Mimer. And Mimer's making sure he absolutely clicks on the right thing right now.
Super Hot Crew are going to try force Fnatic to ban LeBlanc. You see, Yasuo has already been taken away. We know SELFIE likes to play assassins, hence the reason that's gone. If you remove those farm mid laners like Ziggs, potentially like Gragas, could be a possibility. I think it's going to be forcing Fnatic's hand to get rid of LeBlanc. If it's not, I think it might be first picked on the side of Super Hot Crew.
Evelyn and Ryze taken away. We did see Ryze in the last game. Not going to happen this time around. Overpower wasn't overly successful on it. I think it's fine. It's a 1-for-1, I believe, in the European LCS so far, but that's been taken away from SELFIE.
1-for-2. SELFIE actually lost with the last week as well.
Of course, yes.
So I think smart bans here, but once again, you're just seeing these range, these poke champions being removed from the side of Super Hot Crew, but you have to highlight the fact Lucian is up and available, Pantheon is still up and available as well, which is something Impaler's run many times in the past, and Kha'zix. Kha'zix is a champion Impaler ran last week. Mixed success. He had moments that were good and moments that were not so good.
sOAZ positively looked exasperated there as was having discussions with his team. The final ban that does come out is Lulu, along with that Nidalee, which means a number of options open for Super Hot Crew. Remember, assassins were the big deal for SELFIE when he came into this LCS last week. Didn't really get to see him play on that other than LeBlanc. Will that LeBlanc be the first pick for him?
I feel it should be. I think it's a very safe pick. It's something that SELFIE is very comfortable and confident on. What it does leave or set up is the Kha'zix to be taken away. We've seen YellOwStaR in the past. We've seen Cyanide in the past running the likes of Kha'zix as well. Also, YellOwStaR does train towards that Karma support. So there's a lot of priority picks here for both of these teams.
Cyanide's like, yeah, we're going for Anivia. This is totally a pick we're going to pick. Look at sOAZ. He really doesn't look happy about having to play Renekton here. We've talked to him in the past about it. You know, bruises are not his thing. He has been forced onto them in the current meta and has played well with them, but he's still not too happy about it. Karma is the other pick for YellOwStaR.
So sOAZ on Renekton is probably my favorite bruiser for him. He's played it 5 times the split. He's got 3 wins on the champion, and I actually feel like his aggressive laning plays into the champion's favor for obvious reasons. What it also means is Mimer, who tends to trend also towards those bruisers like Shyvana, like Trundle, like Mundo, if he picks one of those, he's going to get bullied around. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble, and sOAZ can get an advantage, and he can snowball that lead.
Amongst a possibility for SELFIE here. We'll see whether he does lock that one on, and of course it could also be Lucian for MrRalleZ champion. He is very, very comfortable on. They have both been locked in.
Yeah, so once again, safe pick for the Lucian, one of the most versatile AD carries. We talked about how if SELFIE wanted to run LeBlanc, he was trying to look for removing those farm-heavy mid laners. I actually theorized that maybe Gragas could have been a ban. It was not, and that means xPeke basically insta-locked that. In addition, we see Elise. This is going to be the first Elise of the day. Has been banned in game number 1, made it through game 2 and game 3 completely untouched. We'll get to some of her nerfs in-game, but I still think she is a smart pick and can do very well, as long as she can obviously secure some of those kills.
Yeah, as you mentioned, first pick of 4.4 when many people wrote her off, but again, there was a couple of junglers that no, she is still viable, and Cyanide clearly feels that way, along with the Gragas, of course, selected for xPeke, who has been very successful on this champion. I remember a number of big plays last weekend using that barrel, getting themselves some triple kills on the Thursday of last week.
Also, the 6th game that xPeke is going to be playing Gragas. It is his most played champion in the European LCS. He's got 3 wins on it. He'll be trying to make that his 4th. And what I do like about the Gragas is he is going to be able to just delete Sona, LeBlanc, or Lucian once he gets enough ability power. So that is a very squishy lineup. But what you do see from Supa crew, Shyvana and Kha'zix want to dive in there. LeBlanc wants to find a kill and pop somebody. And if anyone jumps on Supa crew, Sona's going to be there for the disengage. It's a fairly linear, straightforward comp.
With that Sona locked in, and of course Jinx was the final choice for Rekkles. So Rekkles returning to the Jinx. This was the champion that he picked up so many wins on at the start of the season, had that incredible KDA, broke records, shattered them, honestly, with that Rekkles, with that Jinx, and then just dropped it like a stone and said, nope, not viable anymore.
Undefeated on Jinx. I'm going to throw yet another stat at you. 4th game, 4 games played this split, a tiny 27 KDA on that champion, but it was he only played it in weeks 1 and 2. From then on, Rekkles was so outspoken, saying he didn't want to play Jinx into champions that could dive on him. I'm not quite sure what's changed in his mindset, because I feel like Kha'zix, Shyvana, LeBlanc can dive on a Jinx, but he's confident, he's feeling comfortable. He's going to be relying on the disengage from Gragas as well as the shield and the movement speed from Karma to keep him safe, and we'll see if it works out.
Well, he was so confident on the Jinx that he actually told us in the interview that Jinx is completely overpowered, and consequently his management shut him down and says, no more interviews for you, son. You give too much information away. We'll see how it works out, because the picks and bans have been decided. Let's take a look at the voting on LOLesports.com. According to the vote, it is 88% in favor of Fnatic. That's not a surprise when Fnatic are involved.
No, it's definitely not. And I think, they are definitely one of the fan favorites here in Europe. This particular game, I still feel is probably
it's
a
that
60-40.
fan's favorite, at least.
That dude, yeah. Ole, 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 ole. I think this is a 60-40 split. If you go just on champion picks alone, you've got another early game focus composition from Supa crew. If they don't get ahead early, their comp, I feel, will be outscaled. And I just think that Fnatic has got more tools available to them to deal with the Supa crew if played properly.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The final game of the day. It is Supa crew as the blue team up against Fnatic as the red team, playing from top to bottom. And let's see whether the focus works out for the Supa crew. Very aggressive performances last week, and we'll see whether that carries through in towards week 10.
So we'll see how it works out for them. I just want to touch on Elise right now, because her early game is where a lot of her damage took a hit. She's going to be clearing camps significantly slower with her Q, both human and spider form, reduce damage to those jungle camps and monsters. So it means that Cyanide's going to have a slightly slower time at clearing his campsite. We do see that Mimer stood right next to sOAZ. As Colin Meeks, I think one of them is connected, the second one did not. I think he's just trying to bait.
He's trying to taunt Mimer out, because you can see in the bushes YellOwStaR is ready and waiting. So as using that taunt, keeps on slicing and dicing, calling the Meek, on him, as you say, and I'm not falling for it, not having any of it.
I don't think it's going to work out for him. And also just one other big change on the side of Cyanide and Elise is that the Cocoon stun duration is reduced at lower ranks. So as opposed to being 1.5 at all levels, it's now 1 at level 1 and scales up to 2 at rank 5, but you tend to rank Cocoon last. So it's going to be a long time before he's going to have that additional stun duration on his side. And just as a quick aside, that song and dance from this particular Jinx skin, sung by Christian Link, the gentleman who drafts and plans all of the music for League of Legends. So one of Riot's own. It's got a good voice, I must say.
It is actually a guy singing that voice for Jinx there. Mimer going to get caught out here. Late invade coming out from Fnatic. They're going to push on towards the blue buff. And, well, Mimer was not ready and waiting for this one. The rest of Super Hot Crew kind of caught out of position here. They go for an invade of their own. But look at this. Peke is ready and waiting. The blue buff may well go across the Cyanide. Nobody going to contest that one. We want to look towards the bottom half of the jungle where we can see Peke trying to keep them away from the blue buff of his own.
I don't think he's going to be able to keep them away. There's a lot of damage that can come down from Impaler plus the smite, so they end up trading butts in the situation.
There's rotations all over the map, and we can see in this mid lane, it seems that it will be a 2v2, and we may see Super Hot Crew trying to go aggressive here. Where's Kha'zix going to go? Looks like he's going to head back towards his own red buff.
So because of the two mirrored steals, it has allowed Super Hot Crew to actually get the straight head-to-head matchups. I think this is quite good for Super Hot Crew on the assumption they avoid YellOwStaR's poke. If you look at this 2v2 in the mid lane, you've got the sustain from Sona, but she is squishier than Karma. So as long as YellOwStaR is not hitting those Qs as you see in that moment, MrRalleZ and Migxa are always going to have an advantage. YellOwStaR and Rekkles did not want that lane, so that's why they're swapping.
Yeah, rotating back down there, we can see him making the way past that mid lane. Dragon just spawned up there just in the right time to say hello, but MrRalleZ, it means he's going to be in a 2v1 up against Peke, and that of course also puts SELFIE in a 2v1 up against YellOwStaR and Rekkles.
And the reason they don't want that matchup between SELFIE and Peke is because LeBlanc is going to be able to bully Gragas at those low levels. You've got ranged auto attacks and against a melee champion. You've also got the ability to silence him if he's trying to pop his barrels or body slam away. So you just see another swap. Whenever we see these multiple swaps going back and forth, we need to keep an eye on the CS of the champions moving around the map. Whoever comes up with more CS after 5 or 7 minutes of lane swapping is obviously in the advantageous position.
Well, Cyanide's making his move, and he's coming in towards his mid lane. We'll see whether he manages to land anything onto SELFIE. Comes around the side there, going to throw out that spine link. Cocoon not even close to landing, and, well, LeBlanc is a tricky champion to pin down.
Forced the flash, though. So SELFIE at level 2, no flash. If Cyanide rinse and repeats, he could set him up. Now Migxa is going to get jumped on by YellOwStaR.
YellOwStaR sidestepping the damage, Migxa sidestepping the inner flame, and now we see Impaler taking a peek towards sOAZ, but not really wanting to go too aggressive on this one. The bottom lane, that's where the focus seems to be. Migxa again goes aggressive, manages to get that power cord down on YellOwStaR, forcing him back. And
that is exactly what we talked about. Because of the fact that Migxa's got that sustain and he's got some mana regen on his runes and masteries, plus that Spellthief's edge, he's just keeping MrRalleZ and himself topped up. So every time Rekkles and YellOwStaR go in, if they don't get a very big lead, they're in trouble. SELFIE's the next one that's in trouble, though, because there are 3 members of Fnatic. I think it's just a lane swap. I don't think they're going for the kill. But once again, Fnatic initiating that first swap move.
Both junglers also going for a bit of a race swap there as well. They're in the opposition jungle. Impaler is coming around towards the backside of sOAZ. He will go aggressive. Let's see if they can force anything away from him. Stun on Mimer, though. Mimer's taking down a little too much damage for this start here. sOAZ is going to get jumped on, slice and dices away, but he's taking a hell of a lot of beating. Has to flash away, and he will get away with the flash was burned.
Now, once again, another successful gank. This time round on the side of Super Hot Crew. I think whoever can capitalize on their opponent's missing flash is going to be able to win that lane for their team. Mimer on Shyvana is going to struggle against Renekton. That is why Impaler focused that lane first. That's why he came up behind him. In the same vein, Cyanide went mid against SELFIE and LeBlanc because Peke is going to struggle on Gragas. So we'll have to see how it works out. sOAZ is pulling Mimer closer and closer to him. If the cocoon lands, Mimer's going to go down.
He has got that ignite available, trying to bait out some aggression from Mimer, and I think Mimer's possibly feeling this, thinking, why is this low without a flash? Renekton being so aggressive right now up against me when I clearly have a lot more health. I'm pretty sure he's going to be very much aware of the situation. Migxa and MrRalleZ, they have rotated back around, and you can see already heading back down south is Rekkles and YellOwStaR.
Yeah, at this point in time, when you look at the CS, because Rekkles, oh, they've caught Mimer.
They caught the cocoon on towards him, and here's a longer one this time around. Can they get the stun down? They ignite's running. It will be first blood. It's Cyanide that gets it.
That's exactly what we talked about. Because of the fact that sOAZ had baited Mimer in, the cocoon landed, and even with the reduced stun duration in 4.4, Cyanide made the champion count. He still has a good amount of damage. Yes, it's somewhat lower, but it's by no means game-changing for that champion, and advantage Fnatic in the early game.
With all these rotations, it seems to be fairly even so far, and if you look at the CS, you can see the two mid laners very equal, just one apart between them. The two bottom lanes, that's going to pretty much even itself out. MrRalleZ is going to catch up. Peke, though, has those barrels leveled up. You can see he's got that chalice, so he should start clearing those waves a little bit quicker.
And very importantly, the chalice is also going to reduce the burst damage there from LeBlanc. What we've been seeing on LeBlanc's in the last sort of 2 weeks is moving away from a Deathfire Grasp first item to actually going for the Athene's into Death Cap. So it just means you're going to have slightly more sustained damage over the course of a team fight, and not necessarily just insta-burst somebody and then you're done.
I would add one thing that's happening with all of these changes, all of these lane swaps, is SELFIE's Edge and not having too much of a success. Inner Flame again does not land from YellOwStaR, which means he doesn't get the gold from it. Rekkles and YellOwStaR back in that mid lane, and sure as hell, Super Hot Crew rotating round, but look at this, Fnatic on a 4-man invade towards the blue buff because they have that power in the mid.
And they don't want to give it over to LeBlanc, they really want to keep SELFIE on the back foot. You see that because of Fnatic's positioning, Super Hot Crew are coming in split up. And once Fnatic realized they were surrounded, they backed away. That's a bruiser fight at the top.
Well, they realized it was a 5v4 advantage. This is, of course, giving Peke all that free time on that bottom turret. That's not too bad. Pressure on the blue buff, buying himself some free time on the weakest turret in the game. And look at that. There's nobody anywhere near Peke. He's getting all of his free time to just beat down that turret. 50%
of that tower HP is already dropped. Super Hot Crew are finally responding, but there's no teleport on the side, so it'll take them a while to get down the lane. You'll notice it's SELFIE, the person who is moving. So we've got this sort of strategic game of a chess back and forth in Fnatic. They've got the lead thanks to the CS advantage. They've built up 1,000 gold already.
Yeah, big advantage for Peke there, turning around. It was even until that little bit of play, little bit of tactical prowess coming out from Fnatic, which they so often do. And you can see it's now 64-46, rotations back on again. This time around, it may well be the Dragon they're going to go for, or could go aggressive on Migxa and MrRalleZ, who pushed way too far up in the mid lane.
That's what I'm expecting. Cyanide does not have flash though, so look for him to repel in and then try land a cocoon. You did see that the moment MrRalleZ and Migxa backed away, all of a sudden Peke and YellOwStaR, they left. They peeled away from that game plan. What you're noticing with Fnatic doing all of these lane swaps, we'll get to that in a second, YellOwStaR has found SELFIE. He's got to be so careful not to get instantly killed though.
They're going to come in from 3 different ways on this one. YellOwStar's thinking of maybe coming in the backside. SELFIE pushed way up. Cyanide comes around the side. Cask will be up in a couple of seconds, not too far away. Cyanide comes in, does manage to land the Q, gets aggressive on towards SELFIE. YellOwStar, meanwhile, has found Impaler. Inner Flame is available if they can try and land it. He's got minions in the way. The cocoon lands up towards Impaler. They have got the aggression down. It's YellOwStar that picks up the kill with Inner Flame.
Yeah, and xPeke did not manage to get an assist. He used the explosive cast, but it didn't allow him to secure it. Because Fnatic have got a jungle Elise, they could go for the Dragon right now, or roam to that mid lane to defend the tower. I think there's enough time if they decide to go for it. There are still minions there, and MrRalleZ and Migxa will need to back away.
There's good ward placement now for Super Hot Crew. It's what gave them the heads up last time around. They're going to see Cyanide coming around again. They're going aggressive. They're sticking around. Cocoon lands on towards Migxa. They do manage to get the damage down. There's no explosive cast from memory, just using it in the bottom, but he has got Ignite. It's Migxa he's going to go for. Gets it down, and Migxa continues to chase that record.
Yeah, who said Elise is dead? You see right now, Cyanide is making it work. Roaming around the map with that red buff and with the cocoon. While all of that's going on, YellOwStar's 1v1ing Impaler. Let's see if SELFIE can do anything. I don't think he can.
Put a lot of damage back down on towards that turret. Rekkles, he's going to find a super mega death rocket. Not going to land. Impaler had already stepped away.
Yeah, so a little bit closer. He did have a BF sword and a longsword, so could have actually been enough damage to execute Impaler there, but wisely, Impaler did get out of range. Now, the point that I was trying to make before all of those ganks and fights happened, this chaotic start to the game is probably more detrimental to Super Hot Crew because of the fact that they've only been playing with SELFIE for 2 weeks. This kind of gameplay is disrupting. It makes you panic. It makes you think. And because Fnatic have been playing together for such a long time, and it's them making the moves, Super Hot Crew aren't sure how to respond. They're playing at Fnatic's tempo and at Fnatic's pace, and it's giving them the 2,000 gold advantage.
In gaming terms, 2 weeks is a long time, and at the moment, we'll see if it manages to pan out, because it's really been all about that little bit of blue buff play, that little bit of prowess, a little bit of tactical knowledge from Fnatic, just forcing the issue, which all came around from that very first level 1 invade. And Fnatic have played this one very well in the opening 11 minutes. You can see, though, the Dragon is being started off by Super Hot Crew, and this would certainly get them back in it, but they've got to be careful because Peke is close by with explosive cast.
Yeah, there is steal potential. Let's see if the smite is good. Peke's being zoned by SELFIE, and here it comes.
Does manage to throw the barrel in, not enough. Selfie went too early, and now they're actually in trouble. MrRalleZ is taking some damage here. YellOwStaR's going to try and catch on towards him. MrRalleZ sidesteps it nicely, puts the culling all over xPeke. Has to flash away from Selfie.
So I think that was very smart play from Supa Hot Crew. They waited for the barrel cast combo to come in, and there wasn't actually much vision super deep in the pit there from Fnatic. It was war just to the side. What it has done is allowed Fnatic to get on this inhibit mid turret. It's going to go down.
It's going to go down, and well, Supa Hot Crew reacting, but just a little bit too slow, and it's another big objective gained by Fnatic. That mid turret is vital in taking the vision away from the Supa Hot Crew. Good turnaround after the Dragon loss.
Supa Hot Crew get Dragon, Fnatic get Tower. Dragon respawns, Tower does not. What it does also mean is with Fnatic's roaming and rotating gameplay that they've been pulling off, once they push down that bottom lane tower, it's going to open up the entire Supa Hot Crew jungle for them to invade and move.
I wonder who's making the calls for Supa Hot Crew right now, because Selfie was caught. He was sort of half up the river, half back down, half up the river, unsure really where to go. I wonder if he's trying to make the plays for his team, and at the moment, as he's losing out his lane to xPeke, this player that he's probably seen in the LCS for the last 2 years, he seems to be starting to have problems, and when a LeBlanc doesn't get going, it can be a problem for the whole team.
Yeah, especially when you look at the targets he's trying to blow up. Gragas is not necessarily going to get 100 to 0, especially if he's got his Drunken Rage on. Damage reduction is going to be good. Elise is going to repel damage. Renekton is going to dominate the damage. So even Jinx, with a barrier and a shield from Karma, may be able to survive the not even completed Athene's burst. So Selfie's really got to look at himself and figure out what he wants to do to get control of this game.
Well, dominant control from Fnatic. All 3 outer turrets down, and now they're already moving into Supa Hot Crew's jungle. Selfie just simply a spectator as he sees the golems being taken away from his jungler Impaler. Well, he's had to take the blue buff for himself because Selfie was miles away.
Yeah, and something we haven't seen much of this game is the sOAZ v Mimer matchup. sOAZ has got a level ahead and a massive CS advantage. Mimer's trying to bait this one in, but this could get turned onto Mimer.
Well, Impaler's going to come in towards him. Mimer taking very low. sOAZ is going to get burst down very quickly. The unseen threat coming out from Impaler. No, he failed the jump. He failed the jump. That means sOAZ gets away with the slice and dice.
We did see that one Impaler, and it does mean sOAZ gets away. He had to burn both Flash and Dominance, but he gets away cleanly. I think if he got a little bit more damage on Mimer, maybe could have gone for the kill. That Negatron cloak is not helping him against the mostly physical damage of Kha'zix and Shyvana. So he wants to survive the burst from LeBlanc, make sure he can't get instantly killed down, and most likely going to get himself that Spirit Visage to increase all of the lifesteal and lifesteal that he's got from his Q and his eventual Ravenous Hydra.
Look at the confidence though. xPeke in that bottom lane, happy to push that wave up, and now actually making a move towards this mid lane. They have got a ward coverage, but Fnatic are collapsing in this one. Crescendo comes out from Migxa, but the rest of the team are not on the same page, and we are going to see xPeke coming around. Mixa's going to have to try and flash away from this one. Hasn't got it available. Gets caught out. xPeke gets an easy kill.
And that was the exact kind of play we were talking about. Migxa tried to set something up for his team, but it was too deep. That flash crescendo was in YellOwStaR, who was on his side of the river. Nobody else from Supa Hot Crew could really engage on that one, and they didn't, so Migxa gave up his second kill of the game, getting closer and closer to that record.
Yeah, Kiwi Kid, he's starting to feel threatened right now in North America. He, of course, holds the overall record for the LCS, but he would have to go pretty big, I feel, to take that one on down. Reginald also, well, he picked up the MVP performance, so he's not too worried.
No, not this time round. I don't think it's an award that they want to be too happy with. But at 15 minutes on the clock, Fnatic have got 3 towers down. They've lost only 1 dragon, and they've got themselves 4 kills. Those kills are situated 2 on Gragas, 1 of them on Jungle Elise, which is doing a very, very good performance. Cyanide playing as if there's been no changes to Elise's kits.
Well, bottom lane, Selfie is now up against xPeke and does not want to go close to him. Explosive Cast was used by xPeke, though, to keep him at bay. Instead, he just cleared out the wave with it, which now means, of course, his ultimate is not available, which is why he's just going to belly dash away from that one, but possibly could be the Dragons a long way off for the Supa Hot Crew, and not really sure what presence, what objectives they want to aim for. They all tried to collapse on xPeke, who just easily dashed away, and it pulled 3 members away for nothing.
Once again, decisiveness. Supa Hot Crew have been responding to Fnatic's plays, and until Supa Hot Crew get control of this game, Fnatic's just going to keep snowballing this advantage, keep building it up, get a higher gold lead. Take a look at this. Because of how badly Mimer's losing the top lane, 3 members of Fnatic are going to be on this tower, and they'll most likely be able to kill it if they're not afraid of Kha'zix. If Kha'zix scares them, they won't kill it.
They're all collapsing across, but that turret's going to go down, and now they may just turn on this one. The choppers are down. Impaler, no, he has to jump away from this one. The rest of the Super Hot crew come in, but look at Fnatic. They're all collapsing in. sOAZ goes deep on this one, slice and dices away. He gets caught up, and MrRalleZ culling, but they're going to try and chase on towards this one. They could turn it back around. Impaler quickly has to dash away. The white actually doing damage to Impaler as well there, so he manages to dodge away. xPeke comes back in. Explosive cast is up, but he's not going to have to use it. Instead, they're happy to keep farming the waves. A turret for a kill, not a bad trade.
Definitely not. Fnatic once again extending their map control. What you've seen from Fnatic for the entire time of this game is roaming and rotation. They have not been afraid of Super Hot Crew's composition, and they are making it very, very clear. What I really like is every time Fnatic move, they get incredibly deep vision. As that siege in the top inner turret happened, there are 3 wards placed very deep on Super Hot Crew's side of the jungle. So Fnatic gets so much information to work with. It made that a very low risk, high reward action.
And it shows, just look at the ward coverage. The river area for Super Hot Crew, they had no idea that play was happening. They were setting themselves up a prey on towards xPeke, and it completely backfired. They were all trying to set something up that was just never going to happen. Now they may get caught out by Fnatic, who are looking to go towards this dragon. The cocoon comes out, Impaler gets it, but they do get a ping ward down.
So dragon is the objective. Super Hot Crew want this one. xPeke's going to be a little bit late. I think dragon will go down before the fight breaks up, but Super Hot Crew need to play the fight perfect.
Cyanide's going to come in, repels in there, doesn't get it down. He's already used that repel, he's got nowhere to go. Cyanide taking all the damage, he gets dropped off. SELFIE getting focused on sOAZ, putting the damage down on towards him. MrRalleZ now caught out in the pit. sOAZ is taking a lot of damage, going to chase on towards him. Belly slam comes across there, Impaler's going to get singled out. xPeke picks that one up with ease. It's a 1-for-1, both junglers down, but Super Hot Crew, they got the dragon.
Yeah, so gold advantage goes to Super Hot Crew, but like we said, Super Hot Crew needed to play that fight perfectly. Fnatic, it's so much disruption, and Super Hot Crew were not focusing the same target. So I actually think that Super Hot Crew were a little bit lucky to come out with that kill in that situation. Fnatic grouped well enough. Cyanide just went a little too deep to try and get the smite steal. Didn't even get that smite off. Now, we'll see how Fnatic sieges in a turret. We see MrRalleZ and Migxa about to respond. Wave clear from SELFIE. Pretty good defense.
Just to clear it out, Super Hot Crew, everybody in there now back in defensive units. Meanwhile, sOAZ, he goes off and plays his own game. It's a game of farming down that bottom lane, and he's doing it with ease. Mimer is a long way behind in terms of farm against sOAZ's Renekton, and he's just going to keep pushing that wave down towards that final inner turret. Well, I'd say final. There's obviously the mid lane one, but the top one was already taken down by the exact same tactic. And Fnatic, they're just running rings around Super Hot Crew right now. The blue buff is going to get contested. The power comes in. Can they even see it sat there in the bushes? They can. This is why they're delaying this one. SELFIE wants it, but he's not going to get it. It's going to go to Impaler again.
Yeah, so important that xPeke was actually there to challenge. Because Impaler was forced to use his smite to secure that buff from SELFIE, it means SELFIE doesn't have it. He's only relying on that Athene's Unholy Grail. We do see SELFIE going for xPeke, but he doesn't connect with anything.
This is the second time blue buff has been used, and a turret could be gained. Fnatic, they're going to get themselves another inner turret down just by simply out-positioning Super Hot Crew. They were focusing so hard on a simple blue buff. They lost themselves an inner turret. That's a big objective.
When you know your opponents are not going to have the clearest and most strong team coordination calls, then you need to play aggressive. This is what they're doing. They've caught xPeke.
They're going to jump on towards him, but they're not on the same page. Simply use the explosive cast to back away. The cocoon stops the culling in its tracks. Cyanide defends his mid laner.
If that chain had actually connected with xPeke and rooted him in place, that would have been a dead fat man. But it was not the case. SELFIE only connected with the minion. It allowed xPeke to get away, just using that body slam to get out cleanly.
Well, I mean, if there's anyone that knows all about selfies, it is xPeke, but instead Rekkles is caught out in that mid lane. Cocoon is not available. YellOwStaR does keep them away.
The shield and the flash from Rekkles. Exactly what we were talking about, but it did burn both flash and barrier. Now SELFIE's caught out. He's going to need to distortion over the wall, and he does.
Oh, but YellOwStar's going to follow through. The super mega death rocket from Rekkles lands and gets himself a kill.
Now the fact that they've got the kill onto SELFIE is just going to once again allow them very deep vision. MrRalleZ doesn't want this fight.
He does not want this fight. There's a Hydra on sOAZ, and he manages to chunk a load of damage down on MrRalleZ. We do see Rekkles now coming around the side. He may want to get involved in this one. Doesn't have that ultimate just yet, though.
No, he doesn't. Now red buff is the next point of contention. If Fnatic steal this away or try to open up more map presence, sOAZ is going to go in. He's got support from the rest of his team. Decides to back away.
Trying to draw that aggression across there. The rest of Fnatic are there, and while this is all happening, xPeke, he's off on his own, pushing that top wave. So every time Fnatic draw the whole attention of the Super Hot Crew team, they manage to shove another wave down in towards them. As it is, they are going to step away, but it's 5-0 in turrets right now for Fnatic.
7,000 gold is what that counts itself up to. 6,000 if I can learn to do math. And at this point in time, with a very good siege composition that they actually have, with Gragas and Karma poke, I mean, Super Hot Crew are going to be in such a difficult position defending their own turrets. They cannot afford to take a single inner flame from Karma or a single barrel roll from Gragas. And because Jinx has got so much damage with that fully stacked Bloodthirster and Zeal and Pickaxe, she will melt through those towers. So Super Hot Crew need to get better vision, and they need to find a pick. They have not succeeded in blowing up a member of Fnatic and making that lead to an objective at all this game.
Impaler found himself a rather large crocodile in the jungle. It's not something he wants to try and go head-to-head with so far. sOAZ with that Sunfire Cape completed and the Tiamat, of course, and well, going in towards the Spirit Visage. He's been sitting on that Spectral Cow for a long time now. We'll see whether he goes with that. Mimer, in the meantime, well, he's catching up slowly in terms of farm, as Shyvanas tend to do, and may actually be able to go head-to-head with him now.
I still think Renekton is far enough ahead in terms of armor and the Tiamat damage to deal with Shyvana in a 1v1. But if Mimer is able to get a good amount of damage down with that Flame Breath and get that percentage HP onto sOAZ, that could be the turning point. We'll see how impactful that Dragon's Descent is. And you see Cyanide, who's thinking about going on Mimer. He has to back away. The rest of Super Hot Crew on the mid turret.
Yeah, 4 members of Super Hot Crew all pushing in on this one. They want to try and get the first tower down, and they may well finally be able to do it. It is going to be MrRalleZ that takes it down. xPeke wants to try and turn the aggression round. All the Fnatic coming in. Oh, the cocoon comes out from Cyanide, perfectly placed on SELFIE, and he just gets taken down by xPeke. Brilliant stuff. The rest of Fnatic, they're closing in on towards Super Hot Crew here. They're going to have to back away. They may lose another turret.
Yeah, they're definitely going to lose this turret if Fnatic stick around. Explosive Cast was used, so it's not going to be available for xPeke right now. Look at the damage from Rekkles.
Will Mimer go for the Dragon Descent across the side? Impaler jumps in. He wants to go for all Cyanide. Instead, he just has to jump away. Mimer, well, he has Dragon Descent available, but doesn't want to use it because they've got nothing left. Super Hot Crew simply back away and have to run from the damage. It's 2 kills for Fnatic and another turret.
I don't think Super Hot Crew are reading from the same playbook, because Impaler went in and Mimer was nowhere to be seen. Then Impaler ran out and Mimer decides he wants to try and go in, realizing it's a bad call. I think Super Hot Crew needed to engage together. They needed Mimer and Impaler running disruption while MrRalleZ could get the damage down. It didn't happen, so it allowed Fnatic to get the inner turret in that mid lane, roll around, grab themselves a dragon, and extend that gold lead even further.
League of Legends by the numbers for Fnatic, and simple tactical moving positioning around the map. They've done it up against the very best in League of Legends in the World Championships. They managed to get themselves 3rd place in Season 3, and right now they are showing Super Hot Crew exactly what you've got to do in this game.
Yeah, what you're seeing from SELFIE, at 24 minutes on the clock, he's 0 kills, 3 deaths. He has not a lot of ability power, just sitting at over 205 with his current build. And he's been forced to go for a Void Staff as his second item. There's so much MR already built up on the side of Fnatic that he's just not had the possibility to insta-give anyone. Blue buff is respawned, and lo and behold, Fnatic are going to challenge for it. This, I believe, is the 4th blue buff in a row they've tried to force out Super Hot Crew's hands, and this is the first one that SELFIE has got his hands on.
Yes, SELFIE finally gets it. Impaler's had to smite it away so many times. xPeke was laying in wait, and he's actually still stood in that bush. Maybe he's going for the whole KT-Rolster B insect style of just standing still in a bush and trying to catch that cameraman off guard, thinking, is he disconnected from the game? I'm not too sure what's going on. He hasn't moved. Finally, he does move and goes for a ward.
Yeah, so he's grabbed himself those Merc Treads, and when you consider the CC that is on the side of Super Hot Crew, silence from SELFIE. Oh, SELFIE's in trouble. I think he's going to die.
SELFIE's in trouble. Explosive gas bursting backwards. Cyanide's going to jump on towards him. The Fat Man gives chase. Super Mega Death Rocket is available. Tried to juke, but xPeke, well, he's the king of that, and he knew exactly where he was going.
Yeah, there was no way SELFIE was going to get away from that one. Fnatic had him completely surrounded and well caught out. Now, with that kill, they've started off Baron. There's so much damage between him, Elise, and Gragas. This is going to go quickly. At this stage, Elise's Spiderlings have more HP than previous. If they peeled,
they may try and peel on, catch on towards Super Hot Crew. The flash from Cyanide does not land the cocoon. sOAZ is taking a lot of damage in the backside. The Culling's going to do a lot of damage as well. Impaler jumps in, but he hasn't got the damage. Crescendo lands on all 5 members of Fnatic, but they simply don't have the burst to follow this one up. And Mimer's now caught out. Cocoon lands on towards him. He flashes away from this one, but sOAZ goes deep, goes aggressive. It's a kill for Rekkles, and now they chase on towards Migxa. Migxa's going to get slowed down here. The barrel comes on towards him. There was getting sight from Rekkles. The speed boost comes from YellOwStaR. The belly slam on Migxa. It's another death. It's another kill for Rekkles, and Fnatic are dominating Super Hot Crew.
Fnatic have the ability to heal and try rush that Baron once again. That play was so good. The moment Super Hot Crew showed themselves in the pit, they peel and fight. sOAZ is running interference. Now at this point, Fnatic had already peeled from the Baron. A 5-man crescendo catches everyone of Fnatic, and it makes you sick to see a play like that accumulate to nothing. Because Super Hot Crew are so far behind. They cannot kill the very tanky member of sOAZ on Renekton. They didn't have SELFIE to burst down the squishy targets. And Fnatic's carries just turn it around and run Super Hot Crew down. Migxa, you did the best you could, but unfortunately, the team is too far behind to make it really matter.
Well, it is a great turnaround, and Rekkles, well, I think he's going to be continuing that winning record on Jinx as well. At 3-0-5, he has been playing perfectly. And with all those rotations, you've always got to wonder who's going to miss out. And sadly, it seems to be SELFIE who was the reason they did all the changes in the first place. And he's the one that's fell behind this new man in the mid lane. And it's going to be a Baron for Fnatic. Super Hot Crew this time around, not even close.
No, Super Hot Crew can't contest this. And the point that I was trying to rush out in the previous Baron pit, one of the changes to Elise in this patch is her Spiderlings actually scaled to have a higher number of hit points. Initially, they had a cap of 260. Now they go all the way to 390. That is a very big bonus, and what it means is you can use those Spiderlings to tank Baron and tank Dragon, and also tank all the damage from the rest of the team. Right now, Fnatic with Barons, they're sieging the mid lane.
Super Hot Crew completely out of position here. Fnatic can just run straight through the middle. There's not anything stopping them right now.
They've got no minions.
Mimer's there. They don't need minions when they've got sOAZ and they've got the Karma shields on there, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Rekkles is just burning this one down with his minigun. Gets half the hit points off before Super Hot Crew can react.
Yeah, sOAZ only loses about 10% of his total HP, and thanks to the regen he's going to get from Baron, that'll be back up to full in no time at all. Now with the minions, this tower's going to get melted. Impaler loses a chunk from that barrel roll. SELFIE does not pop Cyanide.
Explosive cast was used. That barrel is down, but the tower's almost dropped off here. Rekkles pulling that damage down. Then he got caught out though. Had to step away from this one. Of course, they got the Baron buff on, so that regen is running. He's going to go get some health back off the Wolves, and he'll be straight back in there. Burns it all straight back up. 2
more auto attacks, and that tower is going to fall. Fnatic will have explosive cast in probably 30 to 40 seconds, so they're not looking for a giant team fight. But because they've got such a strong lead of gold and Baron, they can still win it even without that ultimate.
There's the inhibitor turret going down. The inhibitor will follow. Super Hot Crew stepping away from this one. SELFIE laying in wait off the side, but there's really not a lot he can do about this one. And Fnatic, they're just going to step on round and go towards that big top wave.
Yeah, at this point in time, with the minions pushing in the top wave and the minion wave pushing in the bottom, Fnatic should be able to just play this map game very, very effectively. We talked about how strong they are in a siege position. Throw out cocoons, throw out volatile spiderlings, throw out the poke from Karma and Gragas, and then just melt the tower. And Super Hot Crew, somebody needs to tell them towers need to be defended.
Maybe they don't know. Defended. They thought, let's push out this mid lane, we can go do enough, but they thought Fnatic had completely stepped away from this one. They were simply turning the wave back around, and Fnatic again catching them out of position. That range that Rekkles has, of course, on that rocket is enough, and he keeps getting those shots off. And well, Super Hot Crew, they're going to have to react to this one, and they're going to lose the second in him. They do go aggressive, but the distortion is not enough from SELFIE. He tries to use the ultimate, tries to do what he can. sOAZ instead, he's going to tank the turret. The damage continues. The explosive cast has burst in Migxa, nearly single-shotting him down there. The turret will go down. SELFIE still tries everything in the book to try and take him, try and go defensive, but it's not enough. Fnatic get themselves a second in him. Super Mega Death Rocket blocked off by Migxa.
Yeah, those home guards actually allowing him to save SELFIE's life. I think that was very smart play from Fnatic. The fact that they blew Migxa up in terms of HP prevented a Crescendo engage. That was the only threat to Fnatic in that situation. If Crescendo would lock 3 or 4 members up, it would have bought time for Super Hot Crew to get all of their damage dealers onto a single target. So smart, decisive play from Fnatic gives them 2 inhibitors, a massive amount of gold to go back and spend. And now they're just going to come and siege the bottom lane once they picked up all of those items.
Yeah, everybody goes back to buy. Cyanide does the Dragon all on his own. No problem there. He's at level 14. That's not an issue anymore. As you mentioned, all those little skittering minions tanking it out for him. It won't be a too much of an issue for them. So, gigantic gold lead, 14,000 gold overall. It's only the second dragon for Fnatic, but, well, that doesn't really matter because they've got 8 turrets down, including those 2 inhibitors. And they have just that bottom lane. If they want to go by the numbers, they could, of course, just follow the super minions into those Nexus turrets.
Now, this was a flawless, chaotic game from Fnatic. From the very first lane swap, it was Fnatic that was initiating the trade. They did not really want Gragas to be in a 1v1 against LeBlanc. It is a matchup that LeBlanc does well in the laning phase. Once Peke made it through that laning phase and he was looking stronger, then all of a sudden Fnatic said, let's fight. Flash crescendo. This is going to be a last-ditch effort. I don't know if this will work. Selfie, they're going to go in a second.
It's going to be a 4-man. No, it's only caught 2. Can they get on towards YellOwStaR? They didn't get anyone. That's a problem. Selfie's running for his life. The explosive cast separated them. sOAZ has gone very deep on this one. Mimer taking so low. Explosive cast didn't quite get enough, but sOAZ is there in the back to clean up. They've managed to get 2 kills down, but sOAZ is causing so many problems. Migxa just gets popped out by Selfie there. YellOwStaR trying to put the damage down. Rekkles is still alive. He has to back away from this one though. MrRalleZ can close on them.
So 2 for 3 at the end of the day. The explosive cast from Peke saving Fnatic's life. Fnatic have no longer got Baron on them, so that regen is not with them, and Selfie is looking to pop so much. Super minions are on the Nexus turret, so Fnatic are playing for time. They want to keep MrRalleZ and Selfie here. Right now, those super minions are on the turret.
They've got a second support wave coming in as well from the top lane. Selfie is going to catch on towards Cyanide. Not quite enough. Pop the core. Didn't quite land on towards there. Rekkles puts the damage back down, but those super minions, they're going to start doing work. The minions wave of Super Hot Crew has been wiped out. The Nexus turret's taking a hell of a beat in here. You can see Selfie in there trying to run defensive duties. Nexus turret taken down. One more shot will do it from the super minion. They do take it down. That's 1 Nexus turret destroyed by simply Fnatic playing the delay game.
Very well played by Fnatic. They held Super Hot Crew in place. Cyanide was very lucky to get away with his life. If that secondary proc, the root from those chains from Selfie's LeBlanc had landed, it would have killed him. But nevertheless it didn't, so Cyanide gets away with his life, manages to back away, and Fnatic, once again, just dominating and exerting their map presence. Fnatic have not played Super Hot Crew this game, they've played the map. They have played the map completely. They've rotated and roamed every time they've seen Super Hot Crew's positioning, and that is what allowed Fnatic to get this incredibly strong lead at the 33-minute mark.
That's what you could argue SK Gaming had been doing when they went on their incredible winning run, and potentially moved away from it in the last few games. However, 1 minute till Baron. I'm not too sure whether Fnatic are too interested in that. The inhibitor in the mid has respawned. Top wave will be back up in around about 30 seconds time, I believe. But, of course, that inhibitor turret down the bottom didn't get taken down, and they may try and return for it.
So Fnatic don't need the Baron, but it's a pretty safe objective that they can grab with very little risk. If Super Hot Crew try to challenge, Fnatic can just kill them and then finish the game. So we'll see what they decide to do. At this point in time, it looks like they're just going to use their very big advantage and the power of their sieging champions to take this turret out. They're going to pull Super Hot Crew forward, and same story. Range poke and explosive cast from Peke. He's used it previously to get champions away, not necessarily for kills in the towers.
So has just taken a rest off the side there, I feel. They are going to see if they can engage on this one. They keep getting the poke. Rekkles keeps getting the shots on that turret. No need to worry about that one, but he's caught down, gets singled down there. Good crescendo from Migxa. They're jumping on towards sOAZ. They aren't going to get the reset this time around, but the damage on YellOwStaR could well be enough to manage to finish him down. He will get the kill. He gets himself the second. MrRalleZ tries to pull the damage on towards Peke. Selfie goes aggressive. The chains will be enough to take him down. Then it's a 3-for-1 engagement. Super Hot Crew live to fight another day, but that top inhibitor, it needs defending fast.
It's going to go down. The minions and the super minions will at least reset that top inhibitor. So Fnatic lose 3, get 1, and gain the super minions in the top lane. Because Super Hot Crew are so far behind in map presence, this little, minute and a half or 40 seconds rather of death timer is not going to help them at all. They can't push. They have so many towers to shut down, and they're not going to kill Baron quickly enough. Fnatic maybe should have peeled back. We talked about how Baron was going to be a safe objective for them. They opted to go for the siege. They got engaged upon, and that's what allowed Super Hot Crew to win.
And that's always a problem. And I often wonder why Protein sometimes do this. When there's an exposed inhibitor, why they don't use that as their first target, shove those minions down their throat, then rotate and finally take down that inhibitor. Instead, they chose the siege, and it may well have cost them a little bit here. We'll see how much it is overall. Super Hot Crew do get some wards down on the Baron. They know that's going to be a target for Fnatic now.
Yeah, there's no teleports, and if they stick around, it runs the risk of somebody going behind them. There's no crescendo for at least another 20-odd seconds. You see the cooldown there on Migxa, 25 seconds in fact. So Super Hard Crew need to delay and stall Fnatic for that amount of time before they can go in. There is super minions pushing the top wave, and there is a massive minion wave going down the bottom. And remember, all the damage that Fnatic got on that inhibitor turret, so it won't last long in the bottom lane. Super Hard Crew have one more team fight in them. One more team fight. If they do not win convincingly, then there is such an open base that Fnatic can win the game. We'll see if Super Hard Crew can, balance on the edge of this knife any longer.
They have to get that burst. Ooh, Super Hard Crew taking a peek towards Dragon. It's a bit of a miss time because he's not up for 30 seconds. Fnatic, don't have the wards down, so they didn't have the vision. They didn't realize the situation. Now Super Hard Crew trying to bully themselves out, but you can see Fnatic, they're trying to sneak it from that backside. It doesn't mean Rekkles is out of position. If this fight were to go ahead, then Super Hard Crew, they're moving into position. They force them away.
It was actually very smart because if a fight were to break out, both Elise as well as Renekton have got that repel and the slice and dice, so they have the opportunity with some tools to reposition in a team fight. We do see that Super Hard Crew are not backing away. There are minions in the bottom tower. Fnatic are once again playing the map. Mimer's gone in!
Mimer's gone aggressive. He's going to try and catch on towards him, but the cocoon straight on Impaler. Impaler uses that ultimate. It's sOAZ he's focusing on, not really the target he wants. He's definitely not going to get a reset. Explosive cast does not do a great deal on the Super Hard Crew here, but look at the minions on the Nexus turrets in the base of Super Hard Crew. They have to deal with this one. Nexus is going to go down. The Nexus is taking damage from super minions here. Super Hard Crew have to react.
Yeah, they have to. They're falling back. This is going to cost them a Baron. A few minutes ago, you asked why do not pro teams shove down those inhibitors? It's because Fnatic's playstyle, they are using the minions as a tool. They are using the minions to do the work for them. Minions got their top inhibitor twice in a row. They've got both of those Nexus turrets. Minions of Fnatic have got more towers than Super Hard Crew have as champions.
Fnatic pile on in there. Super Hard Crew doing what they can to defend here, but the rest of Fnatic claps on towards that inhibitor in the mid lane. That's going to go down. Impaler's trying to run defensive duties, trying to do anything to poke Peke down to try and set up a burst kill for SELFIE. His ultimate's going to be available any second now. This is going to be the final grasp. Can they get it? They do manage to get a good crescendo down there. Super Hard Crew are trying to do what they can, but it's just simply not enough. The Super Mega Death Rocket flashes on past there. SELFIE gets caught out. Migxa's going to be the next focus target. It does not matter. It's Fnatic picking themselves up. Yet another win.